The Navajo Nation has a democratic government which represents 300,000 Navajo citizens with a land size that's bigger than the country of Lithuania. The Navajo people have an electoral process where elected representatives make, execute, enforce, interpret our laws. Also, the Navajo Nation has a human rights agency that addresses racial discrimination and the rights of human rights violations that are inflicted on Navajo citizens. The Navajo Nation is a stakeholder in the protection and the recognition of indigenous peoples. The Navajo Nation offers general comment on the zero draft document. First, the world community has come a long way in addressing indigenous human rights and now has arrived at a draft document that is intended to provide concrete actions to be undertaken by the United Nations and its members. The Navajo Nation supports 4 concrete recommendations from the Alta Norway document. 1, the protection of indigenous women and children from violence. 2, meaningful implementation of the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. 3, participation of the indigenous peoples in the United Nations system. And 4, the protection of sacred sites and places. All 4 recommendations are in the zero draft outcome document. Secondly, the Navajo Nation supports the zero draft document. It requires additional improvement. While it is clear that the United Nations sees the United's efforts on addressing violence against women, it is unclear why the issue is addressed in several sections of the zero draft document. It would be beneficial for a clear focus on the outcome document that is organized in a fashion that delineates the actions by 1, implementation of the declaration, 2, social and economic issues, 3, lands, territories, and resources, and 4, the general provisions. Thirdly, the Navajo Nation continues to be supportive of the fundamental need to pay particular attention to allowing meaningful participation by indigenous nations and peoples within the United Nations system. It is unclear how a high representative will be instituted and why proper credentialing will occur for indigenous nations and peoples. Fourth, the Navajo people are connected to land, and there are many sacred sites and places where the Navajo people pray and provide offerings to the holy people. Article 27 of the ICCPR provides directions for the nation states to protect minorities peoples' exercise of their culture and religions. However, it is often difficult to protect Navajo sacred sites, places, and objects. Thus, the Navajo Nation offers that paragraphs 12 and 26 of the zero draft be improved so that the language not only provides for enabling the indigenous peoples to secure their sacred objects, but to ensure that repatriation of their sacred objects. In addition, paragraph 26 must state a commitment to affirming and recognize the protection of indigenous peoples' sacred sites and places. Finally, the Navajo Nation seeks a positive and meaningful implementation of the Declaration in the United States. It is essential that and fundamental to the Navajo people that the Declaration be fully implemented by appropriately recognizing indigenous nations have full authority over their lands and resources. Yeah, thank you.